Alright, well, we're heading back to Highland Park right now.
Notice he said we are.
Yeah, we are. I actually have a cameraman today. You can thank my friend Rees for that. And,
hello, world. I said hello, world.
Hello. C++, old coding.
Yes, yes.
+1 to anybody else, I got the reference. But I got as a loaner car number 38,651, which belonged to originally to a woman in Indiana. Apparently they traded it in for a newer version. Thank you, Tesla, for forgetting to remove all her personal information out of the glove box, which I will let them know. I think I'm the first person to get this car as a loaner since it was traded in, so it was kind of last minute thing. But anyways, this is a P85 with gray leather, white seats. That made no sense. Gray leather seats. Real leather, not the artificial that they're using now for the grays and whites. Original style interior. Didn't get a chance to see what a full charge was on this. It's only got 13,286 miles on it, but I thought I have 17,000 on my new car. Why not do a little comparison? Plus, Rees has the refreshed version. The biggest difference, of course, that I've noticed, that's almost gotten me into a few accidents, is now that I'm finally used to the new arrangement of the cruise control and turn signals, now I'm using them on the old style again. So instead of turning on the turn signal, I've been grabbing the cruise control stop and either resuming or jacking up my speed. And of course, since there's no traffic aware cruise control on these cars, almost missed our exit. Whee! You still gotta love that performance mode snap, even though the P90Ds, or the 90Ds, are faster or quicker than the original P85. But that single huge drive unit really kicks off the speed on that initial snap is just so much quicker on these older cars. So, anyways, the next biggest thing that I notice is turn on the wipers. No autopilot or traffic-aware cruise control. So now, personally, I dislike traffic-aware cruise control. Wow. But now that I'm used to having it, even though I don't like it, you know, mentally you think it's there, and we're being followed by a BMW i3. Get that thing out of here. And it's got Rex, range extender. Without traffic-aware cruise control, you know, I have the cruise set, and, you know, mentally I'm just putting along, and then, oh crap, gotta slam on the brakes because I forgot no traffic-aware cruise control. I'm gonna rear-end somebody. Next, no autopilot. So I keep double tapping my cruise control and then letting go of the wheel. Especially more prominent when I have music playing. So, you know, with no music playing, obviously you're not going to hear the doo-doo of the traffic-aware cruise control turning on, or excuse me, autopilot turning on. I got a head cold, but this is a rare opportunity to have both a classic car to compare with and a cameraman. So then I let go of the wheel, and then I realized not only am I drifting out of my lane, but I'm also slowing down. And I'm slowing down at a very quick pace. Why? Because the older version, the non-autopilot cars, have much stronger regen. What happens on all the autopilot-enabled cars now, Tesla has stated now that the regen on the 8.0 firmware will be stronger. Thank you. Please make it as strong or stronger than the original cars. But all non-8.0 or above autopilot-enabled cars will have what I call a lethargic, slow response regen. So you take your foot off the wheel, or off the wheel. Hopefully it's not on the wheel. Like I said, a head cold, the brain's all over the place. Maybe you should have drove. Actually, you did offer, right?
I did.
Never mind. You take your foot off the accelerator, and your regen only goes up maybe about 25 to 50% of its strength, where what I call hesitates a little bit, and then starts to slowly ramp up to full regen. That was an extremely hard thing to get used to. I'm still not used to it on my new car, because after driving 80,000 miles, knowing that if I take my foot off the accelerator, I'm going to brake at a pretty good rate. Whereas on the new car, I almost got into plenty of fender benders because I was expecting the car to slow down at a quicker pace than it did. Still not fully used to it, and all the brake dust on my wheels really shows it, because whereas I could pretty much get away with single pedal driving all the time on my first car and just use the brakes to come to that complete stop, because yes, I do have creep mode on. So to some of you that's sacrilege. To me, I consider it much safer driving with creep mode on, especially in slow paced stop and go driving. But in my new car, I have to use it at a lot higher speed unless I really give myself 3 or 4 times the distance to slow down than I did originally. Let's go to the interior. Obviously, buttons style have changed. Tesla's using Mercedes-Benz style buttons, or steering wheels and controls. However, Mercedes-Benz changed their style, so Tesla had to change their style. Another thing I'd like to point out is the material on the interior has changed. Now, some of you might have the Alcantara on the dash now, but some of you might not, depending on your interior trim. However, you'll notice the original cars had this nice textured feel to it, and that was also on the sides. That nice textured feel, and it was also more sturdy. It actually felt, like there was more girth to it. Whereas the new ones, it's more of a, well, this is synthetic. It's rubber or fake, whatever. It's fake. It had just an overall sturdier quality feel to it. The newer ones use more and have that more of a neoprene foam feel to it that I just don't care for. It looks too cheap. Same goes for the steering wheel. Now, this is real leather steering wheel. My first Model S, which is still sitting at Highland Park 7 months later, they did clean it up a bit, though, also had a leather wheel, even though my first car had textile interior. The new cars do not have the leather wheel, but they also have that same cheap, crappy feeling neoprene, like what is on the armrests and the rest of the interior. Now, the piano black plastic, that's pretty much the same. All the aluminum, yes, this is actual aluminum. Whoops, what did I touch? Nothing. Aluminum surroundings, that's all pretty much the same. I also noticed the leather on the new cars. Well, this is not leather, it's artificial as well. But once again, it has that little bit more of a quality feel to it. And look, the texture is there that really helps out. With that smooth finish on the new cars, it looks like they pulled the interior out of a $10,000 Chevy Spark. I'm gonna get pitched up for that comment. Although some of you like it, I don't. Now, another change that was made. Now, my first car, over at the defroster vents, didn't have actual vents. It just had, you could see the little mesh as cool for the defroster. Well, at some point, people were complaining that it just didn't do the job well enough. So Tesla added these vents to it, which carried on until the last of the original-ish design Model S's. For the refreshed version, they got rid of those vents, right? Rees, you have just the mesh going all the way across.
That is correct.
What I personally found is the problem with people's defrosters not working well enough was they were too cheap to turn up the heat or AC to do the job. They didn't want to waste the power. I didn't have any trouble defrosting my first gen car. And personally, I really dislike those vents. I'm going to see if somehow they can retrofit that back into my new car which was one of the last produced right before they went with the refreshed Model S's. Although that's pretty much the same design, so I don't see why they couldn't put that in there, especially since it's the interior there is the same design as the first cars. And I got some referral credits I got to use up, so might as well ask. And the problem I find with the vents is you get a nasty reflection off your windshield depending on which way the sun's hitting it.
That's for sure.
Without those vents in there, and it's just the mesh, it blends in so nice. I don't get, and the reflection is so minuscule. It really does not bother me at all.
If you wear polarized glasses or sun visors or not sunglasses, it mitigates that problem.
Yeah, but at least Rees was lucky he got the ventless.
Yep.
Some other changes. The dash screen is a lower resolution on the older cars. The newer Autopilot-enabled cars have a much higher resolution screen. You can notice the images are considerably crisper on the new cars, rounded. But at the same time, I also notice the Autopilot-enabled cars are also a little more lethargic on the updates. On the refresh, I don't know if they had to turn the refresh down because they were still using the Tegra 3 chips, which are considerably aged at this point and low power to today's standards. They were, excuse me, they were very, very fast by 2012 standards when the Model S was originally started production, but it's a little lacking at the moment. So things like your power consumption, you can see that go up and down a little bit maybe. That reacts considerably quicker than what's on the newer cars. Now obviously, being the classic Model S, Tesla finally went back after a lot of customer anger and gave them back their original style dial speedometer cluster there, which what they had gone to was useless for non-autopilot cars, so at least they got that back. As of currently, pretty much all the options on your center screen are going to be the same until you get firmware 8.0, which was the major update, which just started releasing last night. Let's see, single motor car, so the frunk is still huge. With the refreshed Model S's, if you get a single motor yet, you still get the tiny frunk because they have to still make room and they're trying to standardize. So even though there's that empty space up front, they wasted it all with that 3-foot HEPA filter. Even if you don't have the 3-foot biodefense HEPA filter, they still have all the housings in there. And once again, you get a tiny frunk. I can say it was extremely refreshing getting the big frunk again, because I can actually fit Vincent's stroller up there without bending it. Or my hood. Having a single motor car also brings back, and you're not going to be able to hear or feel it with the camera, but a quite common problem was the clunk going from forward to reverse or regen to excel, and you can still feel that sloppiness in that. Now, this is still, I took a peek. The best I can tell is this has still got its original drive unit, so this was a lucky car that has not had a drive unit replacement. But I can tell that there is that clunk, and it will only be a matter of time before this drive unit will end up getting replaced. I really should have looked at that battery pack. I bet you it's a D pack in there, one of the original Ds. It still has 3G, which still to this date, I've never seen a performance difference on the vehicle center console functions that use internet between the 3G and 4G. Personally, it's the actual car itself that can't keep up with the amount of data coming in off the internet. Plus, everything going through the cellular connection gets routed through a virtual private network to Tesla servers in California. Oh, let's see, what else? Wonder if this one's got the, it's got the slot for it, but doesn't have settings, vehicle. No, it doesn't. Now, at a certain point, around the beginning of 2014, they started putting this little mesh slot in by your USB and 12-volt ports. And what's behind there is actually an ionizer, ozone generator to help mitigate odors inside the car. They started putting that in, but apparently this one doesn't actually have it. They did make that a standard, so it's not an optional item. It's standard on all the vehicles now. My new car does have it. I'm not sure when they actually started installing those in the vehicles, however.
By the way, I'm getting reflections.
Oh yeah, hi. Reflections, yeah. Let's see, climate, it's got the smart preconditioning. Now this one does have the tech package, so it does have nav, and as you can see, we're right into Highland Park, so we can go pick up my 90D, which had to have water removed from the headlight. Or actually, they just replaced the headlight because it ended up burning out all the DRLs. Yeah, those weren't sealed too well. But what are sealed well are the taillights in the new cars, all of them. Anything using the redesigned taillights. So starting about mid to end of 2015, they switched over to a redesigned taillight design, and you can know it's the redesign because the Tesla on the rear is more embossed. It sticks out further.
I've got the battery on the thing.
And your scooter?
Oh, crap.
So you're walking it? This chair is right inside. Shoot. I'm not going back. Not when we're so close. So, where was I? Yes, sweetie. Okay, go sleep. Turn the ringer off. Where was I at? Okay, tech package. So this one does have nav, which nav I believe is standard for all cars now. Which I mean, it really is. It makes and breaks the user experience of the car. My first car did not have tech package, and I begged it to purchase just nav because it didn't require any additional hardware. Literally, all they'd have to do to turn on the nav would be to log in through the service mode and move a little slider on the screen over, and nav would have been enabled. However, they would not. I basically got nowhere on that. But nav also unlocks the trip function, which pretty much everything has the trip function now, so no big deal. Anyways, back to the taillights. Yeah, if yours has the embossed Tesla logo on the chrome strip across the back, you have the redesigned taillights. Chances are pretty slim of actually getting moisture inside your taillights. However, it still doesn't seem like they had rectified the moisture in the headlight problem until now. They went to the LED headlights, and now they made Xeons optional, which I'm thinking, why? The LEDs are better than the Xeons. So why would you make an optional upgrade to Xeons? Makes no sense. But that problem should also be mitigated with the refreshed LED headlight housings. No heat inside those, or extremely limited heat, means they can seal those instead of having to have vent holes. Yeah, we're just about at Highland Park, so we might as well keep the camera rolling. Let's see, it's got the panel, and of course there was significant noise from the panoramic roof compared to the newer styles. I did see last night that it does have a few of the service bulletins already applied to that panel, so that probably already mitigated a lot of the noise. And we had some bad rain, and I didn't feel any water intrusion. But as usual, it's just a matter of when, not if you're going to get water in. Lucked out too is this has the coil suspension. And I'm finding the coil suspension, and you know what? I got to concur with my old car. The coil suspension on both my old car and this classic is a smoother ride than the coil suspension on my 90D, but that could also have something to do with how they had to do, you know, the suspension with the front end on the dual motor cars. Can't really confirm or not. Either way, I still enjoy the coil suspension on my new car better than I do the air suspension. I can't. It's just too. I'm not gonna say lethargic, but it's too. It's like driving a old boat. Nope. Let's see. Oh, there's mine. You know what? I'm gonna back in right next to. I already got moisture in my new headlights. They just replaced that. They just replaced my driver's side front headlight. Or passenger side front headlight. And it's already got moisture in it. Might as well do a side by side as long as we're here. Should I take the camera? Okay, let me get out first. Alright. Switcheroo. And there's my cameraman. Hey. Alright. Oh, thank God it's on the outside. Woohoo! So, okay, they replaced that headlight housing and DRL. But, why don't we do a comparison? Now, if you notice, arrow rims, right? Hey, go figure, right? What are the odds? But, yeah, this one's got arrow rims if you didn't notice. Go figure. I mean, what are the odds of finding another one? And they're popping up all over. I've actually getting people telling me they're buying the arrow rims because of me now. So anyways, from the outside, these two are going to be pretty much identical. The one on the left is my new 90D. The one on the right is the P85. Now, this P85 was one of the first to have parking sensors. And this one has 4 ultrasonic sensors across the front, whereas for Autopilot, they also they made it 6 on the front, 6 on the rear instead of 4 and 4, because now you got a side. There's no side sensor on the parking sensor enabled cars. Obviously, the radar on the front, and the camera housing for the mirrors is different. Let's see if we can. There we go. Camera housing. Which brings up another thing is the old style mirror were significantly higher, giving you a little bit better visibility for the out your windshield. And as long as we're out here, now we can check the taillights. So, you can see the Tesla's raised out. It's more embossed. Now, this is how Jerome Julian originally wanted the lettering. In fact, his very early Model S had similar to that, but then somehow they went with a less embossed. So you can see no water in the taillights on my 90D, and there's a little more gappage, which allows better airflow to dry out behind here, and these are much better sealed. Whereas you can see moisture behind on this one. There's a lot less gappage. The overall look is the same, but the housing itself has changed internally. And you can see here, there's pretty much no gap, or very little embossing. And then comes the, hey.
Chris, how are you this morning?
Pretty good. No, don't close. I want up. Oh, well. The license plate lights were incandescent, so if you wanted LED, I don't know why they went with incandescent, you could get an aftermarket LED bulb to fit. It's a festoon style bulb, whereas the new ones they finally upgraded, so they are in fact built-in permanent LED now, which are very nice. Look great. And because I don't have the keys to my car yet, I figure two last major things to point out with, if you go with the leather seats on the new cars, they no longer have this nifty little pocket here, which I found to be great.
There's none over here.
Nope, only on the driver's side, which was great to put my firearm. At least one of them. This is my little peanut one. I didn't bring my 45 today.
What?
What? And last but not least, the nice cold-looking dome lights, map lights. I hated these because it made the interior feel cold and small, especially in the winter when you're freezing your butt off. The last thing you want is nice, cold 5700K color temperature lights, whereas they're nice, warm white on the refreshed and Autopilot cars. Much improved, much preferred. So, whoopsie. Intelligent auto. Come on. There we go. Touch screens. You see anything you want to point out, or do we pretty much cover it?
I thought yours was very complete.
Okay. Glove box. Pardon my reach. The glove box on the classic cars is considerably larger than the glove box on the new cars. And I'm going to come around to your side. A good feature that is no longer present. I wonder if they still got on here. Down here, let's see if the camera's going to pick it up. I'm going to switch to night mode here. There we go. Right here is a release for the hood. Oh, I got my phone. I can unlock my car. There we go. Why did I think of that? So that is a release for the hood. It pops that, and then you got to push the manual. There's a manual button down here, but my hands are full, so I can't do it. Let's unlock. Come on, unlock. There we go. Wow, they really scrubbed my car. While it still has the hole here, and there's wires sticking out. Come on, focus. It has the hole where that lever was. It no longer has the lever to pull it. So there's no manual release, and I'm still got to figure out where that might be. And that is it for today. For my comparison, I'm sure there's some things I missed, but overall, good improvements overall. A few backwards, a few back, considerably many forwards. So, what are your opinions? If you think, or if you've had a classic version and now an Autopilot version or a refreshed version, or have had the opportunity to play around extensively with either. What kind of things have you noticed? Please post below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm hoping to be able to get version 8.0 very soon to cover that for you as well. See you all next video. Smile, cheese.